Hello, welcome to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. On today's episode, we have Ducks, Sharks, more overtime. So we're going to preview the Ducks game. We're going to caught up on all the latest injury news and notes, and what I'm looking forward to in this game, and of course, give a prediction. And it's also Friday, so the 3 Fries of the week as well. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked on Sharks.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked on Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube as well. We have Sharks, we have Ducks. For the third time already this season, it's just the beginning of December. We've already played this game 3 times. Sharks play one against the Ducks one more time in the beginning of January, and then they're done. Like, can we spread it out a little bit more? I know both these teams are not heading towards the playoffs, but having this game in end of March or April when there's actual like draft seeding on the line, much more intriguing than having it beginning of December when both these teams have been terrible recently, and both of these teams have won 2 games in the last 10 games. It's just a bad game, bad scheduling. Way to go, Duck. I guess NHL probably thought this game was gonna be a little bit better, with the Ducks being the reason why this game would be better. But before we get into kind of all the news and notes from this game and preview it, do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you guys by Bet Online. Bet Online gets you covered more this season with more props, odds, and lines than before. Bet Online, where the game starts. All right, let's start with the Sharks end of this before we kind of dig into, of course, the lines and all that fun stuff with this game. But the Sharks still dealing with some injuries, of course. Mario Ferraro not expected to play. James Reimer also not expected to play. Both are getting back to practice. Reimer did practice on Thursday, but isn't expected for this game. He's going to try to kind of make it a go next week when the Sharks play the Coyotes on Tuesday. So again, give him a little bit more time to try to get back together, try to get back to 100%. Barabanov missed Thursday's game, lower body injury, so we will kind of keep an eye on that situation for him. Steven Lorentz, who missed last game because of the flu, or I guess the flu bug is kind of running through the locker room right now, unfortunately, but as it's kind of running through everywhere right now. At work, is running through work for people. It's same thing. Same thing with the Sharks, but Steven Lorentz, so I would expect him to slide back into the 4th line. And then, kind of the same old with the rest of the injuries. So no Reimer. We'll see on Barabanov. Matt Nieto continues to be on IR. So not much else has changed there. Yeah. My big thing with this game is are we going to see anything different, right? Both these, we've kind of talked about before previewing this game. Both these teams are kind of bad. They've both been bad for a while, and the Sharks, we'll get into the matchups here in a minute. Sharks offense is much better than the Ducks offenses right now, and the Sharks should have a complete advantage on the special teams, because the Ducks power play is one of the worst things I have seen in a long time. It's really bad. So expectations, though, for the Ducks, at least for the lines, they're still dealing with kind of the same injuries, right? Jamie Drysdale out. John Klingberg, though, he's been out on IR for the past couple games. So if he's not back, that's another huge hit for the Ducks, especially on their power play, which is already bad to begin with. Isaac Lundstrom is out there, one of their centers. Derek Grant is day-to-day. He's missed the last couple games as well, but those are kind of their injuries. How the Ducks lined up last game: Adam Henrique, Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry. Troy Terry is the only one of their guys who has over 10 goals this year, which is kind of weird. You would kind of expected a lot of these young guys to kind of take that next step, right? Trevor Zegras is, I know Mason McTavish is a rookie, but you kind of expected him to, especially after the summer he had, kind of hit the ground running a little bit. Ryan Strome, Frank Vatrano, who they signed this offseason. Again, none of these guys have really kind of provided that offensive pop that you expected for this team, especially since they have so many young, talented players. But Henrique, Zegras, Troy Terry on the first line, Nathan Beaulieu, Ryan Strome, Frank Vatrano on the second line, Max Jones, Mason McTavish, Brett Leeson on the third, Maxime Comtois, Sam Carrick, and Jacob Silverberg. Jacob Silverberg still kicking around on the fourth line. Defensively, Cam Fowler, Dmitry Kulikov, Ura Vanakanayan, Sam Benoit, Nathan Beaulieu, Kevin Shattenkirk, and then in goal, of course, John Gibson and Anthony Stolars. We'll see who gets the net, especially because the Ducks have been off for a couple of days here. So very fresh team for the Ducks here. I think the last time they played was on Tuesday, where they beat the Hurricanes in overtime, because the Ducks only play overtime games. So yes, the Ducks have one regulation win this year. One. It's December 8th or 9th by the time you hear this. Ducks have one regulation win. Pretty insane, to be honest. But before we dig into kind of how these teams match up, what I'm looking forward to in this game, and then, of course, give a prediction and 3 fries of the week, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Let you guys know about our friends over at BetOnline. Of course, this episode is brought to you guys by BetOnline. They're your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Got the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. You've got football. You have bowl season is here. Bowl season's great. I don't care what people say. There's all the bowls, right? It gives nothing better than coming home from work on a Tuesday afternoon and turning on a random college football game. It's the best. You have basketball, NCAA, pro. They've got you covered. Soccer, World Cup, esports, everything you want at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, which you do because you're listening to one right now, you can find those over at BetOnline as well. The fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix in. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so Sharks, Ducks. Again, these two teams are really, really atrocious. Sharks, offensively, they've scored almost 3 goals a game at 2.97, 23rd in the league. Ducks at 2.48, 30th in the league. Goals allowed, Sharks 3.66, Ducks 4.15. Power play for the Sharks at the league at 21.6, Ducks 15.6, 31st in the league. Penalty kill, the Sharks have finally dropped down to second, especially after a terrible, terrible weekend that was the penalty kill. The Ducks, though, 66.3, the 31st worst penalty kill in the league. Looking at how these teams kind of match up here, the Sharks actually have an advantage in basically every category here, but they keep losing to the Ducks because who knows why. 5-on-5 goals for, the Sharks ranked 14th compared to the Ducks are 29th. 5-on-5 expected goals for, the Sharks ranked 23rd. The Ducks ranked 29th. 5-on-5 Corsi for, so how many shot attempts? The Sharks ranked 23rd. The Ducks ranked 29th. Power play goals. Sharks rank 15th. The Ducks rank 32nd on the actual, just the raw goals there. Finishing, Sharks rank 21st. The Ducks 24th. Defensively, 5-on-5 goals against. The Sharks rank 30th. The Ducks rank 31st. 5-on-5 expected goals against. Sharks rank 17th. The Ducks rank 32nd. Corsi 4, 5-on-5. Sharks rank 21st. The Ducks rank 30th. The PK goals against, so I guess that's the raw penalty kill goals. Sharks rank 1st. The Ducks rank 32nd. And goaltending, Sharks rank 27th. The Ducks rank 24th. They do have the edge there. So offensively, we see the Sharks, right? This team, especially over the last month, 6 weeks to month, or month to 6 weeks, right? They've grown into a more competent offense. We've seen this team put up 4 goals, 5 goals. In their last 15 games, the Sharks have scored 4 goals or more 7 times. In that same period, the Ducks have done it 3 times. They're basically the same record in that time. It's just the Sharks are losing game like 5-4 games, and the Ducks are losing games 4-2 type of situation. But offensively, the Ducks definitely have the advantage, or the Sharks definitely have the advantage here, right? They're doing a better job of creating more expected goals for and actually producing goals. The power play is much more lethal for the Sharks. I mean, this Ducks power play is one of the worst things I have seen. It's a very get-right game for the Sharks, at least for the special teams situation. Defensively, again, yes. The Sharks have done a little bit better job defensively at least keeping the expected goals allowed. Their goals allowed is still bad. The Sharks are ranked 30th, right? And the Ducks ranked 31st. At least the Sharks defensively have been doing a little bit better job at keeping the expected goals down compared to the Ducks. And the Sharks are just getting killed by bad goaltending. It's just a hot mess for the Ducks, right? They're not producing they're not stopping goals. They're not stopping expected goals. And their PK is abysmal. At least the Sharks can hang their hat on their PKs. So, and same thing with the play driving, right? Neither one of these teams is really good at kind of controlling the pace of the play. We know, the Sharks, the way the Sharks kind of score is it's not the quantity, it's the quality, right? It's for the Sharks, right? They're high danger chances. That's their kind of bread and butter for the Sharks. The Sharks, they also give up a lot of high danger chances, but the Sharks actually lead the league in 5-on-5 at high danger chances created. Granted, they've played a couple more games, but still, they produce a lot of high danger chances. The problem is they give up a bunch of high danger chances as well. And no team gives up more high danger chances, though, than the Ducks. At 5-on-5, according to Natural Stat Trick, the Ducks have given up 348 high danger chances, and the Sharks this season have created 303. So expect that to continue in this game as the Sharks are going. That's just kind of how the Sharks, that is their bread and butter, right? We're not going to take a lot of shots, but the shots we take are good, high quality shots. So expect more of that. The Sharks, though, like I said, their high danger chances they create 55% of them. So they have the kind of a bigger piece of the pie there. That's good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th best in the NHL. The Ducks are second worst behind the Coyotes at the high danger chances created. 39.58% of high danger chances go to the Ducks compared to the Sharks. 55% are created in their favor. So this has the makings of a Sharks win, but for some reason the Sharks just constantly shoot themselves in the foot when they play the Ducks. We've seen this all season, right? Both these games have gone to either overtime. Well, both these games have gone to an overtime, and at least one has gone to a shootout. So it's hard for me to say, like, yes, the Sharks should the Sharks should win this game, but they constantly just keep killing themselves against the Ducks. So, like I said, this feels very much like a get right game for the Sharks, especially on the penalty kill, which has been bad recently, right? Since the start of December, the Sharks penalty kills are operating at a 41.7% kill rate. Since I know December's we're a week into December, 41% PK rate is bad. That's atrocious, right? Again, the Ducks are at 66%. The Sharks so far this month, 41.7%. Only Blues have a worse PK during that time. So, the Ducks power play though operating at 15%. So this feels very much like a get right game for the Sharks penalty kill here. And then with the power play, right, we've seen this power play has been very consistent. They've gotten 4 goals in the last 6 games. We've seen them operating at a much higher clip recently. I think, again, this Ducks penalty kill, which is one of the worst in the league, Sharks should have their way this game. So all the numbers, all the stats say this should be a Sharks victory just because of the way these teams operate. But I can't. We've watched it. The big thing is the goaltending, right? And I'm very curious to see who Quinn picks in this game. He was very mum about it on Thursday, said he hadn't decided yet. I think he's going to go Eetu Mäkiniemi. Lets him go out, plays his 20 minutes, I thought he looked pretty well, didn't get tested much, right? I thought he looked decent out there. Not much you can do when you have a rewatch the power play goal. Not much you can do when you have a forward standing right next to the net, undefended, and it's a good pass. He just taps it in, right? And again, Elias Pettersson, he can shoot the puck. Okay. Would you like a save there? Yes, but I'm not going to fault him for those goals, right? But my thinking is, okay, you let him go out, kind of get the nerves of playing in the NHL. Maybe a little quiet with him now, like, okay, I'm not going to pick. And then you just say, okay, McInerney's playing tonight, right? That way he doesn't get in his head about it. So Kaapo Kähkönen has not been sharp, especially since Reimer went out. Since James Reimer went out, Kaapo Kähkönen, he's had 4 starts. He's posted 877 save percentage and 355 goals against average. And that includes a shutout to the Canadians in there. So he had a shutout in there, and he's still posting these type of numbers in 4 games. I know it's 4 games, small sample size, but like this was your time to kind of run with it. And Kaapo Kähkönen has not done that. So I think Eetu Mäkiniemi starts this game. Before we get into kind of the other things I'm looking forward to in this game, my prediction, and then, of course, the 3 fries of the week, do want to let you guys know, of course, about the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. Okay, so I think McInerney starts. I want to see if he starts, he's how I want to see, right? He's looked really good with the Barracuda this year. In 12 games that he's played, 918 save percentage, 2.58 goals against in those 12 games. Does have a shutout as well, and he is a potential future goaltender for you, right? He's only 23. He's looked really good with the Barracuda so far this year. His goal saved above average per 60 in the Barracuda is 0.487. So that's good. He's saving more goals than expected. The defense has been solid for him, in that time as well, but he's looked pretty well, especially with the kind of rotating cast of characters in the Barracuda's defense right now. if you haven't checked out the Barracuda, you have Cicek, who's up right now. Derek Pouliot's out. Hadeka's out. They've been having to sign PTO guys to kind of fill the bottom of the defensive roster right now. So it's not like it's been a who's who of defensive juggernauts down there for the Barracuda. And the goalies have responded pretty well for the most part in their time right now. So him and Strauss-Mann. But I want to see how Mäkiniemi starts for if he does get the start. That's the thing I want to see. Is I'm going to keep my eye on the most, especially kind of when James Reimer eventually gets traded. Dell get first shot, or does Eetu Mäkiniemi get his first shot? We saw Dell really solid game against the Leafs. A little bit tougher game against the Sabres. See how Mäkiniemi wins a soft offensively, at least, Ducks team. So we want to see how he does. So I think he gets to start. I think he's going to play pretty well. And maybe this is kind of a nice little shot in the arm type of situation for the Sharks with Mäkiniemi making his first start. So that's the first thing I want to see, right? Second thing is Barabanov situation. So if Barabanov plays, we know how well Couture and Barabanov play together. If Barabanov doesn't play, can Couture kind of hold a line for a game, right? And we would assume it would probably be either Cunnin or Noah Gregor playing with Couture, along with Nick Benito since Matt Nieto's out. I pulled up some of the stats with from Natural Stat Trick of Couture and Barabanov looking at their splits. So it breaks it down together, and then Barabanov without Couture, and then Couture without Barabanov. And Barabanov Couture it's such a perfect match for each other, right? We know Barabanov, he's very good on the transition. He's been kind of asked to run the transition, especially when Erik Karlsson is on the ice. Kind of gives Couture a little bit less work he has to do, right? Not only does he have to kind of be defensively structured, provide the scoring on that line, and then also work on the transition game, because the Sharks don't really have a lot of other guys who you can kind of trust to get the puck out of their own zone. Barabanov's really helped kind of take the workload off of that. So 25 games that they've played together. Couture, Barabanov, 196 shot attempts, giving up 221. We know how much this unit does start in their own defensive zone, but 47%, that's pretty close, right? Actual shots for, though, is 109 to 115. So again, pretty close to halfway. Goals for, 13 to 12. So they've outscored their opponent. Expected goals for, 11.54 to 10.21. So again, they're providing more expected goals. They're doing good things offensively, right? Barabanov without Couture in 25 games, about 128 minutes played. Corsi for, 119 to 124 allowed. Shots for, 56 to 67. So again, kind of close. Goals for, 1, giving up 6 when Barabanov hasn't played on Couture. So that's not good. Expected goals for, 5.5 to 6.08. So 47% expected goals when Barabanov's on the ice. Couture without Barabanov, though, is ugh. So that's 29 games. And the 29 games played, 132 minutes. Again, this is all 5-1-5. 132 minutes played. Corsi for, 107 to 160. 40% Corsi for. So when Couture is on the ice without Barabanov, his line gets hemmed in badly. You're giving up 60% of the shot attempts when Couture is out there without Barabanov. Shots for, 62 to 75, so 45% of the actual shots. Goals 5 to 9, so goals for 35%, and then expected goals for 5 to 5.27. So the expected goals are okay. It's close-ish, right? But giving up that many shot attempts, again, that just leads you to having to play more kind of catch-up hockey. So want to see how if Barabanov plays I feel good about that line. If Barabanov doesn't play, can Couture kind of carry the line, carry a second line? That way it's not just the Hurdle, Timo, LeBanc line doing all the work. So all that being said, I think Erik Karlsson feasts. We know he had a hat trick against the Ducks earlier this year. I think he's got a 3-point night in him. It's been Karlsson, just he's been putting up points, but we haven't had that Karlsson game, right? Where we're all kind of a buzz about what Erik Karlsson's doing. So I think Karlsson has a 3-point night. I think Mäkiniemi starts. I think the Ducks win 5-4 in overtime because these teams only play overtime games. So, and it's not like you have anything better to do on a Friday night anyway. So I have the Ducks winning 5-4 and pushing the Sharks just a little bit closer to catching them in the tank rankings. So I think the Sharks are right now 4th on Tankathon. The Ducks have claimed that number 1 spot and haven't given it up for a while. So I think, like I said, I think the Ducks are a chance for the Ducks to play catch up here. So, all right, 3 fries of the week. Number 3 fry. I'm going to give it to, I'm not prepared for this week. It's been so weird with all the weird games. And I feel like I've been playing catch up all week. But number 3, I'm going to give it to Kevin LeBanc. Starting to see him score a little bit more. He had a great goal in the last game. Also scored on the Sabres as well. Getting to play with Hurdle and Meyer is a great opportunity, and he's been scoring and taking advantage of that right now. And he's been providing, plenty of. It's not like he just kind of hangs around while those guys do all the work. He's been doing stuff as well. But I'm going to go Kevin LeBanc, 3rd fry of the week. 2nd fry of the week. Let's give it to somebody. I have no idea who to give it to. 2nd fry of the week. We'll go. I'm going to give it to Baker Mayfield. If you watched the game tonight, Baker Mayfield, 2nd fry of the week. You've been there for 20 minutes and you beat the Raiders. So Baker Mayfield, 2nd fry of the week. 1st fry of the week, Tomas Hurdle said he was, felt terrible about what happened against the Leafs game. Comes out, scores 2 goals against the Sens. Has another, 2-goal night the other night. Like, I guess that was the same game anyway. But Hurdle, just the way he responds to stuff, right? He was like, "My bad, terrible. That was on me. We lost that game because of me." And then he comes out and he backs up his play with it, right? 2 goals against the Sens. Had a goal the other night. Should have almost this close to scoring the game winner against the Canucks. Tomas Hurdle, 1st fry of the week. So that's going to do it for me today. Be back on Monday. So I probably won't do a breakdown of the game because it's Friday night and you don't care by Monday from a game by Friday. So I have some extra time, kind of the Sharks aren't playing as much. So I will probably I'm thinking I might do some maybe a precursor into the trade deadline and kind of see what that might look like. So look for that on Monday. So probably some trade deadline talk. So and I'm also trying to line up something special for you guys next week too. So but yeah, so guys, make sure you're following me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Following the show, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Also listening wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, all those places, wherever you can listen. Wherever you're listening now, you can continue to listen to. You can watch on YouTube as well. So if you haven't subscribed on there, please do so. Yeah. And then until Monday, bye, friends.